Hello, I'm Katie, your safety trainer, and welcome to today's video where we'll be delving into the world of boom lifts. These are a type of aerial lift commonly used to elevate employees to otherwise hard-to-reach work areas. They may seem straightforward to operate, but it's crucial to understand that improper usage or neglecting maintenance can lead to potential harm both to you and those around you. In this lesson, we'll walk you through the hazards associated with boom lifts, the essential personal protective equipment required for their operation, and the safe work practices that go hand in hand with these lifts. So let's dive in and ensure everyone's safety when working with boom lifts. Now let's talk about the potential risks you need to be mindful of when working with boom lifts. Picture this. You're up in the air, operating a boom lift, and one misstep could lead to a fall from the platform. It happens when you're not properly harnessed in, or if you're overreaching, standing on the guardrails, or using step stools that extend beyond their safety boundaries. Another hazard to be acutely aware of is the risk of electric shock or even electrocution. This can occur if the boom makes contact with overhead power lines or if you touch live electrical components on the equipment. Electricity and boom lifts definitely don't mix. And then there's the danger of tipping. Boom lifts can tip over if they're on uneven ground, if they reach beyond their safe limits horizontally or vertically, or if you're trying to operate them in gusty winds. Exceeding the load limit is another tipping risk to keep in mind. Now imagine getting caught in a pinch point on the equipment. These are those tricky spots where your long hair, loose clothing, jewelry, or even your extremities can unexpectedly get trapped. It's not a pleasant scenario and it's entirely preventable. Moving up, you've got to watch out for overhead objects. There's a risk of striking or getting caught between them while ascending or moving the lift, so always keep an eye on what's above. And let's not forget about the condition of the lift itself. A collapse is a potential hazard, especially if the equipment has damaged or corroded components. Regular inspections are your best friend in avoiding this scenario. Lastly, your actions can impact others around you. Pedestrians may not always be visible, and operating the lift at excessive speeds can lead to accidents. Plus, falling objects from the elevated platform are a risk to those below. And don't underestimate the dangers of slipping or tripping on wet or slippery platform floors during ascents and descents. These are the real-world hazards we want to help you avoid, ensuring a safer work environment for everyone. Enjoying this safety video? There's more where that came from on Got Safety Lite. Sign up for free and gain access to our library of over 1,800 safety videos. If we don't have the lesson you're looking for, we'll make it at no cost. Click the link to sign up today. Now let's talk about the gear that's going to keep you safe up there. To minimize the chances of an injury while operating or working around the boom lift, you've got to gear up with the right personal protective equipment, or PPE for short. Here's what you should be wearing. First up, the trusty hard hat. It's not just a fashion statement, it's a lifesaver. Protect that noggin from any potential overhead hazards. Next, your eyes deserve some love too. Safety glasses or goggles are essential. They'll shield your peepers from flying debris or anything else that might come your way. Now this is a big one. The fall harness. This is your lifeline, quite literally. Make sure you're harnessed in properly and it's in good shape before you go up. We're talking about your safety here. And don't forget about your feet. Steel-toed or closed-toed shoes or boots are a must. Your toes will thank you for it if anything heavy decides to drop unexpectedly. One more thing. Before you gear up, take a quick look at your PPE. Check for any wear or damage. If you spot anything that looks off, don't hesitate to report it to your supervisor. Wearing damaged PPE is a no-go. Safety should always come first, and that starts with the gear you wear. Before you take the helm of a boom lift, there are some crucial steps to follow, ensuring a safe and productive day at work. Here's what you should do before operating a boom lift. First things first, get cozy with the owner's or operator's manual for your specific model of lift. It's like your trusty guidebook, and you should find it stashed away on the lift platform. If it's not there, don't just shrug it off. Report it to your supervisor. Next up, acquaint yourself with your company's emergency policies and procedures for those just-in-case moments. What do you do if the lift gets stuck or if there's another emergency? If you're unsure about anything, don't hesitate to have a chat with your supervisor. Now let's get hands-on with the lift. Inspect it thoroughly. Look out for any missing, worn, modified, or damaged components. This inspection should follow the manufacturer's instructions and your company's policies and procedures. If something doesn't pass inspection, report it to your supervisor, and under no circumstances should you operate a lift in such a condition. Take a glance at all the warning and safety labels and decals. They should be in tip-top shape and legible. If you spot any that are worn, damaged, or illegible, you know the drill. Report it to your supervisor and get them replaced. Time for a functionality check. Test all the controls as per the manufacturer's instructions and your company's procedures. If they're not working the way they should, it's a big red flag. Tag that lift, report it to your supervisor, and you guessed it, don't use it until it's in working order. Now give the worksite a once-over, following the manufacturer's instructions and your company's policies. Look for any hazardous conditions lurking about. If you find any, don't just keep it to yourself, report them to your supervisor. If possible, clear those hazards out of your work area. If you're working in areas where others might be wandering around, it's time to set up some boundaries. Use barricades, tape, or ropes to keep pedestrians and traffic away following your company's policies. And if you know you'll be moving the lift in populated areas, remember to have a spotter on hand to help with maneuvering following your company's guidelines. Safety is a team effort after all. When you're in charge of a boom lift, here's the lowdown on what you need to do to keep things running smoothly and safely. First things first, only those who are trained and authorized should be taking the helm. Now, it's a no-brainer, but I'll say it anyway. Absolutely no operating under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Your full attention and sobriety are non-negotiable. And if you're on any prescription medication that might affect your ability to operate the lift safely, don't hesitate to chat with your supervisor. When getting on and off the platform, keep 3 points of contact to avoid any unplanned acrobatics. And before you get going, double check that the gates have properly closed and secured behind you. When attaching your fall harness, always use a designated anchorage point on the lift. Please don't get creative by attaching it to the guardrail or any other part of the lift, as they're not designed to handle the weight of a fall. All your tools and equipment need to be stowed and secured either on the platform or yourself, following the manufacturer's instructions and your company's policies. And speaking of weight, never exceed the lift's limit. Remember to factor in your weight, your fellow lift occupant's weight, if it's a 2-person lift, and the weight of all tools and equipment. If you're uncertain about the weight limit, don't hesitate to ask your supervisor. Stay alert and aware of your surroundings while moving and operating the lift. Follow the manufacturer's recommended speeds for your specific terrain and work conditions. Always check for any obstacles overhead before heading up. If you're on an incline, stick to approved side slopes and grades according to the manufacturer. When deploying outriggers, make sure they're on solid ground as per your company's guidelines, keeping the chassis and outriggers at the specified distances from potential floor hazards. When you're working near overhead power lines, maintain a safe distance as detailed in the manufacturer's instructions and your company's policies. The manufacturer's manual often has a distance table for different voltage levels as a handy reference. Never use the boom or platform against any structure for support. That's a big safety no-no. Stick to the manufacturer's instructions and your company's policies when operating the lift, and only use it for its intended purpose. Avoid any daredevil moves like climbing on platform rails, using ladders, boxes, or planks for extra reach, and please keep all your body parts safely within the platform's railings. No overreaching from the lift platform, and under no circumstances should you push or pull objects with the boom. Finally, when your work's done, park and store the boom lift following the manufacturer's instructions and your company's procedures. When it comes to maintenance, it's essential to play it safe. Maintenance tasks for boom lifts should only be tackled by folks who are trained, authorized, or qualified third-party vendors. If you ever find yourself with questions about the maintenance of your boom lift, don't hesitate to reach out to your supervisor. Safety always comes first, even in the shop. In wrapping up, boom lifts are valuable tools for countless companies, making it possible to reach otherwise inaccessible work areas. However, it's crucial to understand that improper operation or neglecting maintenance can put you and your colleagues at risk. To reduce the likelihood of any mishaps, always operate and maintain the lift in strict accordance with both the manufacturer's instructions and your company's established policies and procedures. If you ever find yourself with questions or uncertainties about your particular boom lift, your supervisor is the go-to person for guidance. Remember, safety is a shared responsibility, and by working together, we can ensure a safer and more productive work environment for everyone. That's a wrap for today's lesson. If you found this video helpful, be sure to connect with us on social media. And most importantly, always prioritize safety in your work. Until next time, stay safe out there.